Assembled, which lifts the lid on She-Hulk Attorney at Law's production, is now streaming. The 53-minute documentary dives into every aspect of the current Disney Plus series, including how the characters were created, how the sets and costumes looked, how Charlie Cox's Daredevil made a comeback, and that crazy season finale. Let's dive right into it. Starting off with, Jen and She-Hulk were separate people. According to the film's executive producer Wendy Jacobson, there was a discussion over how to approach a documentary, with conversations on whether they want to do it the way Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno did at one point. Why not cast a fantastic actor who's a specific height to play She-Hulk instead of a bodybuilder? Reports suggest that they had so many different conversations and took many different turns, but at the end of the day, it came down to finding the actor who would offer the most to the part. We completely agree, because in the end, she'll ultimately be a 6'7" green computer-generated figure, so we'll need to believe that she's genuine before we can relate to anything she's doing. In its closing episode, the show ultimately paid respect to the Bixby-Ferrigno era by making fun of the campiness and bad fashion choices of the late 70s. Funny enough, the filmmakers found the best example of how to show the change from Jen to She-Hulk in a time-lapse of growing strawberries. Following this, they fought among themselves. Tatiana Maslany and Mark Ruffalo got to act out the brawl between Jennifer and Bruce in the season opener, but without the aid of stunt doubles, because the Hulk-related portion of their performances would later be recreated in CGI. They were, after all, well protected in some motion capture suits that resembled pajamas. Ruffalo recalls that they had to execute all the stunts themselves and had a huge stunt combat scene to perform together. According to director Kat Coiro, the actors had a wonderful time throwing boulders and had a good time with Jen winning. According to reports, they went crazy and let loose. Moving on, we were supposed to like Emily Blonsky. When Jen's new boss asks her to represent Emily Blonsky, aka Abomination, the guy who almost killed her cousin in Phase 1 of the MCU, she gets quite the shock. Even after all these years, Tim Roth came back to portray the part. Emily's finally eligible for parole, but there's one catch. He's been breaking the terms of his rigorous prison sentence by sneaking out with Sorcerer Supreme Wong to fight in secret arenas similar to the ones we saw in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Blonsky, who appears both regretful and distant, is described by Coiro as being far more likable and honest on the page. Tim added these layers where you're not sure if she should believe him, but he still merits justice at the same time, because she says stuff like, I don't really want to do this. We believe that gives her character a lot of sympathy. Although he attempted to assassinate her cousin, something bad happened to him. That reminded us so much of the comic books and Jen Walters, who always stood up for what was right. Following this, we have The Unexpected Rave. In addition to being a master of the mystic arts, Benedict Wong's also a fairly talented DJ. Maslany claims that the actor finished his last day of filming with a spontaneous music event for the cast and crew. The actress remembers that on her last day, there was a DJ booth set up on the set they weren't using, and Benedict was DJing at the time. According to the actress, he's exceptional. It was like a dream come true. We found this to be a really cute gesture by Benedict, and he sure made the last day of filming a day to remember. Good going. Next up, Donnie Blaze consulted a real magician. The addition of Donnie Blaze, a 2-bit magician who essentially failed out of Kamar Taj, played by director Kat Coiro's husband Reese Coiro, was a joke on all the Ghost Rider fans in the crowd. Donnie uses his limited training in the mystic arts as his old strategies start to fail and chaos results, leading Wong to sue him. According to Jacobson, they actually got a professional magician to assist Reese and discuss with him because they wanted the magic and the persona to stand on their own. Reese has been working on card tricks, rabbit, dove, and smoke bombs with Blaze, and we can see the effort they've put in on screen. Moving on, we have Luke searched for inspiration. Actor Griffin Matthews was granted access to a Marvel warehouse at a secret location, where all the costumes for the MCU were made. All this was to help him prepare for his role as Luke Jacobson, the leading costume designer for the superhero community. He explains he visited it and saw all the amazing designers and tailors producing the actual costumes. He says, I gained a lot of knowledge and there's a great deal of artistry and precision, so that only helped to shape his character. Matthews came to the notion that Luke is halfway in the past as he is in the future, after of course studying the artwork of Jean-Michel Basquiat. Next up, the Frog's lair was hyper-realistic. Leapfrog's base of operations originally began as a really gloomy, traditional villain's lair used in a used car part place. The director recalls that Kevin Feige approved of the basic concept but proposed including another layer. They kind of went crazy with the frog theme when he said that, and we can tell. The lair reminds us of a swampy cave with the perfect amount of darkness and mystery. Even Elena Albanese, a production designer, agrees with us when she said poison frogs all have bright colors, such as bright yellow or blue, so that served as a form of environmental inspiration. Following this, they thought Daredevil was a prank. How can a Marvel show with a legal theme exist without Matt Murdock? The comparison between Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet is fair. Apart from the fact that it takes place in Jen's world, we believed that the show's magic would lie in how it connected to the wider MCU through all of these various court cases. Plus, the fact that we were all fans of Charlie's and the original Netflix show, I believe we put Daredevil on sort of a wish list. So the actor genuinely believed he was the victim of a practical joke when Feige contacted and offered to bring him back. Cox had been out of the vigilante game for a while, but as soon as he put on the outfit, he instantly fell back into character. When he went to Los Angeles for a fitting, he realized that they would be using a new suit that featured the yellow and red style from the comics, which changed his original impression that the project would employ the original Netflix costume. Next up on our list, we have Koiro Had a Dream. The She-Hulk crew initially imagined Runa, a shapeshifter, to be a young woman when casting her. However, nobody they met was quite right for the part. At that point, director Kat Koiro had a dream in which Jon Favreau and Taika Waititi, who had both directed Marvel films, advised her that she should take the lead. Those are the kind of dreams we want. Of course, she decided against doing it, but the dream had made her realize that they could have cast an older actor, which is how Peg O'Keefe came to be. She made an excellent choice by casting someone older, as it added maturity and knowledge to the character, giving her the well-deserved depth to her character. Finally, George Clooney or Jon Hamm could have been Feige. The She-Hulk ending was designed in the style of earlier MCU climaxes, including a huge CGI fight scene with the main enemy, according to the head writer, executive producer Jessica Gao. In episode 9, Jen enters the real world and persuades the show's creators to come up with a less conventional ending, shattering the viewer expectation that was set up earlier in the episode. In the ending script, the sentient narrative machine Kevin, which was termed Akira meets HAL 9000, was described as the head of Marvel Studios. The primary writer immediately thought of casting George Clooney or Jon Hamm as some debonair man in a tuxedo to play Feige. Gao believed a machine would be funny, especially if it wore one of Feige's distinctive baseball caps. In the end, the machine's basic design had a visor-like look. If you watch the episode again, you may see a small brim shading the 3 lenses that act as Kevin's eyes. It's actually really cute. That's a wrap for this video. What was your favorite part of the documentary? Were there any behind-the-scenes footage and clips that had you shocked? Surprised by the cast's revelations? And what do you have to say about the cast and crew's rager? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.